When you watch this video, you will have learned how to structure your profile on LinkedIn so that more people will find it and optimized it for a high success rate in getting a new job. I have worked as a headhunter and I spend quite a lot of time searching on LinkedIn, so I have seen a couple of profiles. We will go through the whole LinkedIn profile and talk about what you should provide in all the different sections. And then in the end, I will show you a cool tool so that you can see how you rank in comparison to others. Okay, I will use my own profile as an example. I haven't updated this in quite some time, so I think that will be good, so then I have some bad examples too. Okay, so starting from the top, the profile picture, it should be professional, not some kind of vacation picture that you have, and it should be updated. So don't have something that is 10 years old because you don't look like that anymore. The best is if you have the style that you usually have. So the profile picture is your face outwards on LinkedIn, so you should have that as a good picture. The banner image, I think, is mainly just to have something more graphically pleasing. So you could use a stock photo to get an image of a really high quality. So you can use a stock photo of like a city or maybe an office, or if you have images of the office that you're working at, or something more specific that is more specific to your role. As you can see, I have this image of plants growing out of money, and that is because one of my specialty areas is sustainability. So I think that that's just a great message that you can combine money and sustainability. It doesn't have to be one or the other. Good size to find stock photos could be Unsplash, Pixels, and Pixabay if you want free images that you actually are allowed to use. Otherwise, you could also use a picture of something that makes you look quite good. So maybe if you have an image of you talking up on stage, having a presentation or something like that, that could also be good to have as a banner photo. Okay, and then the title, which is this one here that says Management Consultant at Centigo for me. This is the title that people see when you show up somewhere else than in your profile. So if you make a post or if they search for you in some kind of list, this is the title, and the title doesn't have to be the same as your last title for your experience. So think about it as a short sales pitch. It could be your current position, or it could be a combination of titles that you have if you have more things that you're engaged in right now. So just make it your own and try to make it stand out. And then there's this great function, so show recruiters that you're open to work. You can use this to basically tell people that have a recruiter type of account on LinkedIn about what you're interested in if they should contact you. So this is actually great to have on. So you can specify what type of positions you're interested in. So job titles, locations, start days, and job types. And I think, yeah, so you have this start date too. So immediately I'm actively applying, or flexible, I'm casually browsing. If you're not really looking for a job actively or right now, you can use this flexible, I'm casually browsing. So then the recruiters know that you're not closed off for new jobs, but if they find the right one, then you're interested. So the next area is the about text, and this one is really difficult, at least for me. I find it so hard to write these texts, but it should be something that showcases your personality and makes you seem like a person that someone would want to work with. It's really great if it can show your drive and your passion and what you're thinking. So I make a statement here in the beginning, like I believe in development. And that's just a part of who I am. I really believe that everyone can develop, and if we all just try a little bit harder, we as a community can become better, and we as persons can become better and develop in all kinds of ways. So I made that as a statement in my profile. So it's really good to make kind of like a vision of who you are. And it doesn't have to be long, it can be quite short too, but just something that makes people know what type of person you are, because your personality doesn't quite show in the other parts of LinkedIn. The features section is something that I haven't filled in because it's relatively new, but it's a place where you can show photos, links to websites and stuff that you can show off good things that you've done, basically. So it could be that if you want a competition of some sort, or if you're featured in the news, you can add that link there. Or if you have your own company, you can add the link to the company here. So this is a great way to have links that people actually click on and see quite fast because it's high up in your profile. Then going down to experience. So here you have basically the same as in your CV or resume. You have space to write out all your experience, like your title and the company and the time period that you worked there. And you should basically use it in the same way as you do a CV. So I think bullet points are great because it makes you kind of get to the point faster. And it should also be like really simple, understandable text. And also, as the same way as in a resume, it should be result driven. So if you look at my management consultant example here that I haven't updated in some time, I just describe what type of management consultant I am and what the firm that I'm working at is focused around. And that's not really results driven because I wrote that basically when I started and haven't changed it since. But if you look at this, well, when I had my own company, I have some more result-based text. So the company had a turnover of 60,000 crowns and selling 150 products annually. Those are more results that I made. So that's a much better phrasing. The thing with LinkedIn is that this text can be a little bit longer than in your resume. In your resume, the text should probably be quite short so that you can fit it in on 1 page or maybe 2 pages. This text can be a little bit longer, but I still want to say, like, don't go overboard. Also, the thing that you should be thinking about here, which you also should be thinking about your resume, but I don't think a lot of people do that, is the SEO, so search engine optimization. If a recruiter or someone search on a job title or something on LinkedIn, you want to have that keyword in your profile. So as an example, maybe you had a weird title for a role that has a general title that everyone knows about. Well, if you can, maybe you should have the general title as your title or at least mention it in the text. Because if you were a marketing manager but your title said something else, you should still have marketing manager in the text somewhere so that you can show up if a recruiter is searching for that. Going down to education. This is quite simple. It should just be your education, and then you can also add activities and societies. So if you were engaged in some type of project or some kind of society or anything, you can add that here too, so that people can see that you were engaged in other things and not just your studies. Licenses and certifications. So here you should add if you have any courses or specific certifications that you have done. Don't just add anything here. Add if you have a certification within something. So for example, this Scale Agile framework, I'm certified in that. Well, it has expired now, but I was certified in that, so I put it here. Just add if you did like a project management certification that you got from a course, those types of things. Then moving on to volunteer experience, this is basically exactly the same as your work experience. Some things could fit into both. I would say like an internship or something, I would still put that as work experience. Then going down into the skills and endorsements. This one is really interesting, I think, because these are very good for when people are searching. And here you can actually get other people to vote up for you that you actually have these skills. And you have 3 skills that are promoted that everyone can see here, and then you can click show more, and then you have a lot of different skills here. So you can include a lot of skills. Same here, don't go overboard because then people won't find anything, but include skills that you're good at or skills that you think people are looking for if you're applying for a specific type of job. If you have that skill, of course, you can't be lying on LinkedIn. That would be really bad. We make things look better, we don't lie. And the best part with skills is that you can make people endorse them. So how do you get people to endorse them? Well, either you just ask people. Ask your department if they could endorse your skills, and probably most of them would, and would ask back, well, could you do them for me? Or if you don't want to directly ask, you can go into other people's profiles and endorse their skills that you know that they have, and they will most likely go onto your profile too and endorse some things back. Connected to these endorsements, you can also make people write a recommendation for you. You've probably seen those recommendations where people are like, I work with her, she's amazing, blah blah blah. And you can add this up here in add profile section and then additional information and request a recommendation. Because a thing that most people don't know about is that people can't write recommendations randomly. You have to ask for them. So you have to request a recommendation for someone in order for them to write it. And it's really nice to have. It's always good to have one or a few people that says and recommends this person that they're good. I don't have anyone because I haven't gotten to it. But if you want to get recommendations, make sure that it's not just you and your best friend, colleague that you're working with all the time. Try to make it someone that you worked with in the past, or a past manager or something like that. That makes it a little more trustworthy, because it's really easy to see through that people have just recommended each other. Accomplishments, simple, just fill it in, the skills and the publications that you made. Maybe you did your master's thesis, your bachelor thesis, or anything like that, and if you have any separate projects. You can add a lot of things here, so publications, patterns, courses, projects, honors and awards, test scores, language and organization. I don't know what that is, but like honor and awards. If you won a medal in the world championships in swimming when you were younger, this is a great place to add that, because all those types of experience, they are really, really good. And recruiters are actually watching it because it proves that you can work really, really hard towards one goal. So those types of experiences, or if you were the employer of the year, that is also something that you could include here. And that is basically it for the profile. And then I also promised you that I will give you a little tip on how you can compare your profile to others. So you can just use the link in my description, or you just go up here in the field and go linkedin.com/sales/SSI. And then you reach your social selling index. You can see that I am in the top 3 of my industry SSI rank and top 27 of my network SSI rank. So this way you can actually see, compared to others in your industry and others in your network, how you perform on LinkedIn. So my current social selling index is 51. The way that you improve this index is basically improving your profile is one part of it, connecting with people, so having connections on LinkedIn and writing messages to them and responding to comments and so on. And then it's also on writing your own posts. So as you can see here, the part that I'm worst at is to engage with insights. So basically posting on LinkedIn. I'm really bad at that. So if I did that more, my social selling index would probably go up. Whereas apparently I'm quite good at building relationships, which means that I'm establishing trust with decision makers, apparently. And improving these things will make it easier for people to find your profile, and it will make your profile stand out. Awesome! So now that you have adjusted your LinkedIn profile perfectly, you might want to get a little bit inside of what interviews you can come across when you're applying for a job. If that's the case, I recommend you to check out this video. Also, make sure to like the video and subscribe to my channel if you found the video educational. Have a nice day, and I'll see you next week.